And Robert, where are you from? What pack or troop are you with?
Troop 88, North Valleys.
Awesome. Robert, you just missed out. We were doing intros for everybody on here. So,
Okay.
all right, guys. Well, I'm going to get started with you guys. It's real simple. Camp Cards is nothing complicated. For the most part, the Scout Office offers the Camp Card program to you guys. We go out and try to secure vendors on some occasions, and then some of you guys have also helped secure some vendors. There is a way on our website where on the Camp Cards website, you'll be able to read things about the Camp Card. You can submit for further future vendor ideas and so forth. But the Camp Card program is simple. We have a discount card and they have vendors on there. And the vendors sometimes say it's a one-time use or you can use it over and over again. So I call it a one-time offender or a repeat offender. And then on that card, the one-time offenders have little break-off tabs. And I'll show you this card and how it looks here in a few seconds, okay? The cards sell for $10 a pop. And in essence, you treat the cards as cash. So when you hand them out, if I were you, I'd write down who's getting how many cards, and I'd make them swear to their life about it and sign it and check them out. Okay. And then if the cards don't get sold, then what you do is once you've checked them out, you handed them out, you can't get them sold, then you return them to the Scout Office. And they got to pretty much be returned in the same condition that you checked them out. I understand, they're going to be separated, and when you get them, they're going to be in nice, thick, stuck stacks. And so those stacks, once you break them, they never seem to go back to the same dimensional size because it just gets thicker because air exists, I guess, in between them. I don't know. So, but what once used to be 1 inch thick becomes like 1 1/4 inch thick or something like that. So these cards, you treat them like cash. You can track them by Excel spreadsheets. You can track them by a paper form, checking them in and out to scouts. My recommendation is have scouts report to you on a weekly basis of what they've sold and not sold. If they've sold something, I'd make them turn in money on a weekly basis. It's up to your pack or troop on how you guys really use the money for these. And what I mean by that is, the camp card sells for $10. You're going to return $5 every card that's sold back to the Scout Office. So if you don't have a card to return, then that card is assumed sold. If the card is damaged, then that card's assumed sold. And so you kind of pay for those sold cards back to the Scout Office for $5 a pop, which means the troop is holding on to $5 and the pack or the troop gets to decide how that $5 is distributed. And so I would recommend to you guys, though, making sure that you express that on the front end to your unit and to the scouts and parents on how you're going to break that out. For example, the troop that my boys are in, we distribute all $5 back to the scout to go to scout camp. And so, I've heard of some scout units, they hold on to $1 and give $4 back to the scout, and all sorts of ratios to that. So I've also heard that some scout units, you'll find a Cub Scout pack every once in a while. They keep all of the funding towards the unit, and then the unit then just puts it in towards its balance and helps pay for the scouting program for the unit. So I've heard of that occurring too. That way parents in general for the whole unit don't have to pay fees. So pros and cons to both methods, and where you break it out and say, right, this scout sold 5 cards and gets $5 for each card, so therefore he gets $25, and you put it towards something in an Excel spreadsheet or in the banking account or mint.com, whatever you want, and that scout now has $25 allocated to him or her. I've heard of that before. And so there's all sorts of methods that you can do this, and I'm sure you guys have already figured this out or heard of some of these things. If you need to discuss how to allocate or organize some of the structure inside a unit, feel free to reach out to me later, but I just wanted to briefly touch on that on the front end. So I'm going to share my screen here. So give me 1 second.
No.
All right. So hopefully you guys can see this. Maybe David or Robert, you guys give me a thumbs up, or somebody give me a thumbs up to let me know you can see the camp card here. But this is the camp card. The top half of it is the front side of the card, and the bottom half is the back side of the card. And where you see the blue section that says adventure calling, that top bar, let's just call it advertising for the council, okay? It breaks off and can be thrown away, but otherwise there's promotional on it. One is to support the council fundraisers on the back side. And on the front side is actually join scouting today. So if you go to nevadabsa.org/join, that helps point you towards any parent or kid or family out there towards being able to start to join scouting. So obviously it keeps it local for us first, but if somebody has sold a card and they're trying to figure it out for their grandson in New York City, they'd eventually figure it out from that website too. So the camp card is you can see on the very top portion of the card, you can see those 3 breakoffs to the left and 3 breakoffs to the right. Those breakoffs, well, Patty, you know the difference is kind of your way, but you get the gist of seeing the layout of the card is there.
Yeah.
So, and you'll see the very middle of the card where it says 22NE2 camp card, got a little wooden background to it. That's the front side of the card. The back side has the 6 vendors for the Reno card on there. And so just going through this real quick, there's Costa Vida, Smith's, Yogurt Beach, Sportsman's Warehouse, Dick's, and Tractor Supply as one-time use break-offs. And there's a little dot at the top where you could break it off and put it on a keychain if you wanted to. I have really yet to see many people do that because they normally throw those in their glove box and lose them, or put them in their pocket and then lose them, right? So, but anyways, some of those have a barcode on there and some do not. All of those vendors though are solid vendors. Tractor Supply, the code that is on that actually can go all over the US and be used all over the US. It's the same code. Dick's is the exact same way. It can go all over the place. The Smith's barcode, I believe, is for the state of Nevada, and that's it. So if it's a Smith's in the state of Nevada, it's good. So if you go to Utah, for example, they have Smith's also. I think Arizona does too. It won't work in those states. Okay. Sportsman's Warehouse, that is actually only good for the Reno and Carson City stores. If you tried to go somewhere else on Sportsman's Warehouse, it's going to be up to that store and whether or not they honor it. So Yogurt Beach is kind of all over the place. The owner of it is here in Reno, and he's just expanding that place like crazy. And so kind of going into more places. I don't think he's franchising, but very successful business, very generous to scouting and the community in whole. And so buy one, get one free from him is an awesome deal. Pizza Factory is a great deal. It's been on the card for several years now, and pretty much everywhere from Chester to Susanville on down through Reno, going towards Minden, all of the stores are on there. Once you leave that type of area along the range, say for example, Dayton and Fernley Fallon, those guys are not on there. Fernley Fallon said they may honor it, but they just simply wouldn't get back to us and we had to move on. So Doughboys is once again on the card. Phenomenal vendor that's on the card. They've been very gracious to be on there. Defy is a return from last year, was new last year and is back on there. It's a great deal also, and lots of people took advantage of that. Firehouse Subs just opened its fourth restaurant, I guess, in the greater Reno area, I guess you could say. And Porta Subs is new on the card for the Reno card. It's a 2-foot sandwich for $15.50. And that seems like a pretty stinking good deal to me. So hopefully people will love that. We also got Roller Kingdom on there this year. And so lots of people have already said that they're excited about that being on there. So excited about these cards. Any questions on the layout of the card or what you may see on there?
Well, what does it look like for Carson or the Gardnerville area? Does it look the same?
It's the same, yeah. So a lot of these vendors all carry throughout the whole area.
Okay, because I wasn't sure because Porta Subs will be down here too, so that would be great.
Yeah, it applies for you guys too. So that Porta Subs offer is actually a corporate office offer. And so according to the corporate office, every franchise store also is supposed to accept that. Now, Patty, that up your way, I did reach out to the Susanville store and I did ask, I said, hey, do you want to offer this same exact one or not? It's from the corporate office. And they said, nope, we want our local offer. And so,
Okay.
so anyways, that offer there, I think is a little better than the one that you've got, but the Porta Subs Your Ways wanted to stay the same
Okay.
for what you had. So, so anyways, did that answer your, whose ever question that was? I didn't see who it was.
Yes, it did. Thank you.
Okay, perfect. All right. I'm gonna stop sharing this screen and I'm gonna jump over to another screen real fast. I just wanted to show you guys real quick the Camp Card website. You can get to the Camp Card website on our council webpage. I pushed publish live right before this training session so that you guys could have it. But on this webpage, we'll have the video from tonight. I'll post it back on there. And then I'll post a few other things, one other additional video after this on there. But on this webpage, if I scroll down for you, you'll see some of the dates that are on here. But you'll also see when you scroll down, there is a leader's guide on here. And that leader's guide has some of the information that we're going through tonight. And so you're welcome to click on it and download it. And it'll actually show up in a Word doc that's built in on Google. And for this document, it's not a very complicated document. Let's see if I can move this. It does give reference in here for Camp Card coordinators, somebody inside your unit, and it's quick to assume most people that are on here tonight are going to help coordinate the Camp Card for your unit, or you're just sent as the guinea pig to hear about it and go back to the unit tonight, right? So the Camp Card dates, though, tonight is the training. Next Wednesday, the 16th, the sale begins. And so in all plausibility right now, the Camp Cards are supposed to be in next week. And so I should be able to, my goal is the day that I get those cards in, I'm going to be emailing out to you guys, hey, cards are in. And so Patty, I'll reach out to you guys like we've already, figured out, hey, reach out and let you know they're in. And then you guys will get them up that way. And so the sale begins on the 16th. If for whatever reason, if I don't email you, that means they haven't come in. And so the instant I get them in, the instant I will send an email to you guys letting you know that they're in. And once they're in, they'll be ready for you to come and pick up. So I won't hesitate on letting you know that. So the people that I will let know that they're in is based on the email that I have for who signed up for cards. So whoever signed up to reserve cards, that's who I'm going to send the email to, because that's who I know is supposed to be the responsible party for the cards. So, and then the sale ends on May 20th. So what that means is whatever cards you have left, and then whatever cash you owe, you need to get turned in by Friday, May 20th. Okay. So pretty short and simple. There's no prize games or anything like that in between. So if you guys want to do prize incentives inside your units, I highly recommend it, but it's up to you guys if you want to do that. So
Hey,
I've
Pat.
seen,
This is Ariel with Pack 443.
hey,
I had a quick question on the end date.
Yeah.
We are scheduled to do a spot with a ham radio that weekend, and we were wondering if it would be possible to turn in that Monday after. Could we extend through that weekend to sell?
and make sure you send an email over to that campcards@nevadabsa.org for me.
So you
And just
want me
ask
to-
that so I can email it back to
Okay.
you and make sure I copy Linda in. And I'm
Okay.
okay with doing this kind of stuff. It's just, you guys need to communicate with me or more or less, you need to send the communication to the campcards@nevadabsa.org and send it there. So,
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. yeah, you're welcome. So this camp card sale, I mean, it's really set up for the scouts to benefit. And the scout office really isn't making money on these things. In some cases, like we're supporting Patty and those guys that way, we'll probably wind up losing a little bit of money on it in the long run. But the camp card is set up for the scouts to be able to make money, raise money, and go to camp. So, that's what they're there for. And I hope you guys have great use of these things. So got units that sold them last year, did great with them, and it really helped them out. So you'll notice I'm down as a contact, and then Linda is down as a contact in this leader's guide also. And I don't know why, but this thing keeps changing. In this one spot, I've changed it 3 times today, where it doesn't say campcards@nevadabsa.org. It's supposed to be campcards@nevadabsa.org. So anyways, just want to touch real quick that return policy on the camp cards. And so you're just basically looking to return cards that haven't been broken up, haven't been damaged and so forth. So don't break off the sides thinking, hey, this is great, I don't need this part. So don't break those off, because we'll want them back incomplete in the original forms that they went out with. So one of the cool features that we have in here is, just a couple of reminders about how to make sure you do a kickoff, get your scouts excited about selling the cards, allocate a certain amount, create goals for the scouts. Some people will take an envelope and put an envelope together and put a script for every scout in there. And the script will basically say, hey, we're trying to go to this scout camp and we're going to do these activities. Will you please support me by buying a camp card for $10? So whatever way you really want to do that is up to you. But I do encourage some form of a kickoff so that parents know, bring them together, do a video, whatever you need to do for that, but make it to where people are aware that you are now selling camp cards. Back up. One of the things I kind of wanted to share with you guys, Trails End is our popcorn platform that we use to sell popcorn through. They have a website that we have the ability to put an app on our phones with and sell popcorn through that app. One of the great things that Trails End also does, though, is they allow us to use that app for camp cards. And so come next week, if you have the app on your phone and are a scout and signed up for your unit, you can go into that phone app and sell camp cards through it. Now, you can do every cash transaction and record every cash transaction, check transaction, but you can also do credit card sales through that app. So if somebody wants to buy one camp card through there and wants to pay by credit card, you can do that through the Trails End app. Otherwise, you'll have to have separately your own Square app, your own PayPal app, or whatever your pack or troop might use. But if you use the Trails End app, it's not going to charge you any credit card fees. Okay. So just a helpful little feature. And when you go into the Trails End app, I'm not going to spend forever showing you the Trails End app if you're not familiar with it. But if you have a popcorn kernel, or if you're not using Trails End at all, I'm glad to show you and share with you another video that trains you on how to use this platform. It's pretty intuitive if you're computer savvy or know what you're doing on websites. It's pretty easy to rock and roll with. But there is ways where you can allocate out and track. Let's for say example, I'm going to give Johnny 30 camp cards for him to sell. You can actually allocate it in the system and say you gave him 30 cards. And then Johnny is able to sign in to his Trails End platform on his phone and sell those 30 cards. And you can actually track how many transactions Johnny has done through the phone. And so if you don't do that method, then you're probably doing some sort of tracking spreadsheet, or you're just having the parent say, here's an envelope with all the cash in it and the cards in it, and they're just tracking it that way. But if you use the Trails End app and you're doing a popcorn sale, there's some nice advantages in there to where if you sold a camp card at one point, down the road, you have a sales sheet essentially for everybody that you sold a camp card to in Trails End that you can now return and go back to with popcorn. And so there's some helpful things where using this platform carries over into the popcorn sale also. Plus it's, to be able to do credit cards and not have to pay the fee. I don't know about you guys, but not too many people not everybody carries cash anymore. And so you limit yourself on who you can make a sale to if you don't have cash. So
Can the kids in Susanville use this Trails End since we didn't sell popcorn?
absolutely.
Okay.
And so Patty, I would just need to get with you and get you the video so that you can see how to use this little platform.
Okay.
And then you can create your account and that kind of stuff, and I can work with you on that. So be glad to do
Now,
that.
does the money go to the bank account?
So great question. There's a couple different options on that. If you're using a credit card, yes, the money is going to go. It doesn't go instantly in. It posts and goes through, but we can make sure, for example, that it posts before you have to pay.
Okay.
And in reality, what may wind up happening even is that you don't even, like, I might wind up, and this is the case on some of the popcorn sales that we've had with units. There's cases where I actually have to pay a unit now and write a check to the units because they've had so much in credit card sales.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, which is a great thing because I'd rather do that because that means you saved money. So it used to be 3 years ago, if you were using a credit card, every scout unit had to pay their own credit card fees. And, shoot, for my kids' pack, we weren't talking about $500 in fees. We were talking about a lot of money in fees, but when you sell $20,000, $30,000 in popcorn,
Yeah.
it adds up, and
Yeah.
so, and then if you use this app also, whatever you sell through this app, the sales for your scouts will add up to sales that count towards their popcorn sales, which means those sales, when popcorn season comes around and that sale is added into it, that means they get additional points for the rewards in the popcorn program. And so you, in the long run, as long as you wait, you'll eventually get Amazon gift card points through the popcorn sale, and the camp card adds to it if you use the app. So a nice little feature that Trails End still throws in if you use the app. So now, why does Trails End offer all this stuff? Well, because when you turn on the app, you still have the ability to sell popcorn at the same time, and it will be a show and deliver, and it just shows up to a person's house. And so if you want to sell somebody popcorn on the side, you can. And so that's why they turn it on, is they know every once in a while somebody's still going to do a popcorn sale, and it just, you guys wouldn't touch the product. It just automatically ships to the person. So, okay, so that is enough on that. I'm going to slide back over to.
Really quick, Pat. So
Yeah.
any one of our families have access to that app. They just have to download it and
Yeah, it's an Apple store.
navigate it, download it, navigate it, register themselves, and they'll be in.
Right. And for example, David, we would need to make sure, say you, for example, are able to log into that Trails End app. And you really don't have to log in and do anything in the Trails End app. But if you're going to have people selling through the Trails End app, then it's kind of nice to be able to see, all right, well, how are they really doing? You know, and for you guys, you kind of have a choice. You could force upon everybody and say, every camp card, you must track through the app, which, you know,
That's a little intense. Yeah.
well, and I say that, but I mean, you look at the popcorn sale, you want every transaction to go through the app if you do it with popcorn, you know,
Because that's
like,
how they get their point.
they get points, but as you know, when you start doing popcorn and you got popcorn moving all over the place and you got different products going all over the place, you want them to use the app because it makes your life as a coordinator for popcorn way easier. So
this is kind of like a warm up to the popcorn.
not really. I wouldn't go that far. Wouldn't go that far. So it's just our troop uses the app, and we sell popcorn as a troop also, but at the same time frame, I tell everyone, hey, you got to put it in the app. And I do that just because it saves me time in the long run. So
Right.
Chandra, what you got?
I just want to make sure I understand because I've used Trails End for popcorn, but the money you guys get it. It goes, some Trails End gives it to you, and then you cut a check to the troop. Is that what I'm understanding?
If it's a credit card, yes.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. A credit card, yes.
And let's say, for example, the way the setup works is if, let's say you do $50 worth of credit card sales,
Mhm.
then you would have that ratio of, let's say, $25 applying back to you for your camp card sales, which then would reduce the amount of cash or check that you would be paying me.
Oh, nice. Okay, I'm following now. That works.
So in the long run, you know, if you do a bunch of credit card sales through there, you wind up seeing me have to write a check to you,
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
which, you know, for our popcorn sales, you know, a lot of our scout units are going over 50% of sales as credit cards. Well, almost all of our scout units were over 50% in credit card sales.
Well,
And so, you know,
last
when you
year,
get, yeah,
I was gonna say last year, my girls, I think sold over 100 cards of these camp cards, and I think it was, yeah, just my 2 girls. And we probably could have done a lot more. There's so many, because they didn't have my square set up to do it. I was just, trying it out for the first time, and there's a lot that would have just grabbed that card if we could have swiped. So the Trails End, it would be great.
right. And when you get older kids too, and they've got their own personal phone,
I
got
was thinking that.
yeah, you got a scout and they've got their own phone, you know, they put that app on there, they're going to know how to use that app faster than we are. So there's just a couple more things I wanted to share with you guys also. With the vendors that we have, so Sportsman's Warehouse and Smith's both have made it very clear, please do not sell the camp cards in front of my store. Simple reason for it is, well, they don't want you to buy the camp card and immediately walk in and use it. So, and Sportsman's Warehouse has asked for the same thing, is to not sell the camp card in front of their store. They like it when you sell popcorn in front of their stores. And so we coordinate that and set up scheduling for that. But they'd rather us not do camp cards in front of their stores. So, with our vendors and so forth in the popcorn sale, we set up a lot of the booths and the sell times, say for Walmart and so forth, other locations. But in coordination with camp cards, we don't set up any storefronts for you guys. Most of the time, they won't let you do storefronts at this time frame. Smith's and Walmart both only allow for certain dates. And so, so you can't set up camp card storefronts in front of those stores. Doughboys really doesn't mind you setting up a storefront in front of their donut shop, you know, to sell camp cards in front of there, even though they're on the camp card. So there's places you can still go and set them up and sell, you know, Cabela's and a few other places. So, but just know that Smith's and Sportsman's have policy to not let you sell in front of their store with the camp card. And then Walmart isn't going to let you also sell because they only let us do it in the fall. And the reason for that is because they only let us sell for a certain number of days in front of the store. And we reserve those already with popcorn. So, and Walmart's back on board for letting us sell this next year. So, okay. Let's see here. I think that's vast majority of it. The camp cards. So I had the vendor explain it to me, and they basically said, I had it slated for the camp cards to be in for next Wednesday. It sounds like somewhere right around there is when they're coming in. And so it could be the day before, it could be Friday of next week. So I'm not 100% exactly sure. And the reason she told me that was because they're printed out of country. And I said, oh, great. Then I proceeded to say, well, I hope they're not done in China. And she said, yes, they're not done in China. I didn't exactly ask why or where, but they're not coming from Russia and they're not coming from China. So, so anyways, very simple sale. Hopefully this helped for some of you guys. And just kind of want to turn the time over to you guys for any questions, thoughts, or ideas. So,
there's only one sell this year. I did notice that, which is helpful. You said that return and redo it. So that's good.
Yep. You caught that, Chandra, that like, so we had somebody really high up in scouting say, you need to have the sales start super early. And I said, nobody sells the camp cards that early. And they said, we want to make sure that they're open and available early. And I agreed with them. You know, the philosophy is, hey, look, if you have to make a payment to a scout camp somewhere in the first part of April, then you need to have that money available. And if the money's not available, then it's hard to make that payment. And let's make the camp cards available earlier. Well, as it turns out, nobody really was selling camp cards in the month of March. So, or February for sure. So yeah, great catch, Chandra. So middle of March all the way through closer to the end of May this year.
Pat?
Yeah.
When the cards are available, how do we get them?
So great question, Robert. So when they come in, I'll just make sure I email you guys, hey, they're available for pickup. They'll be at the scout office. And so you can just swing by and grab them. And you can, if I'm there, you can grab them from me. Linda Brandt's there and Tracy will be there. And so any one of the three of us can help check those out to you.
Remind me, what are the hours at the office?
It's 8 in the morning to 5 at night. Now, granted, if that time frame doesn't work, just let me know. And, you know, we're here to support you guys and make sure. So.
So Monday through Friday, or are you open Saturday too, or?
Was it the third Saturday of the month? The Scout store is open. And so if you needed to swing by on that third Saturday, I can make it available. But,
Okay.
and
Pat, did
normally,
Susan-
say that again, Patty?
No, I was gonna say, did Susanville, I forgot, did we do Sportsman or Tractor Supply? Do you
Uh,
recall?
I think you asked for both on there.
Okay. Okay,
I think it was both on there.
okay.
Which my guess, if somebody from Susanville is coming to town, their preference would probably be to go to Sportsman's first over Cabela's. So
Yeah. And then do you want me just to shoot you an email for that Trails End to get the video?
yeah, I'll shoot you an email on that.
Okay.
Definitely. Yeah,
Can you send me that same email or that same video, please?
sure. How about I
David.
just send it to the whole group, and that way, in case anybody that needs it, it's there.
Sounds good to me.
That would be great, and I could forward it to anybody else that needs it as well.
What's the best way to let our friends and family know about this via Facebook? Do people in the past, do they take pictures of the cards and just send that out, or is that maybe not the best idea in case somebody tries to counterfeit it or something?
Yeah. So the image that I sent to you guys, I really haven't heard of too many people trying to counterfeit it, but the image that you guys saw me put up on the screen here, and here, let me switch back over to it. You know, I kind of discreetly put a few things over it to where, you know, it made the card, you know, at least you got a funky draft right across some of it, right? You know, so it damages the card enough per se. So I can make sure I email this picture out to you guys if you want that also.
Okay, yeah, please do. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
And on the card, you know, you're asking about it, like, you know, social media is, you know, you can post it on your Pack or Troop Facebook page or whatever you're using for social media. And the better thing is to ask the scouts to have their families post on it. Last year we posted for our troop, we posted it on Nextdoor, and we actually had people buying from Nextdoor. Granted, we created a firestorm. You know, some people were anti-scouters, but we let the rest of the community go berating them, you know. But
That's a great idea.
you know, the camp card, you know, the camp card is just like popcorn. You know, it gives you an excuse to be out in the community. Find me a scout unit right now that has enough kids in their scout unit. And so this camp card, the reason we put the adventure calling on the top of it was because every scout unit I know is looking for more kids. And this is a great way to create the conversation, to get in the door with somebody to say, hey, don't forget, you're welcome to join scouting.
I had one last question.
Go for it, David.
So for like, I just want to understand, are you going to be letting us know where there's places that we can go set up? Or should we reach out to different locations on our own and try to set up for our, like, let's say our path?
Yeah, it's on Camp Card. It's totally up to you guys. So we don't
Okay.
set up anything in particular on Camp Card. And the only thing we advise is don't go to Smith's and Sportsman's
Gotcha. Sportsman
and
and
Walmart.
Walmart. Gotcha. Okay.
So Pat, last year, I did not know that. We went to Smith's and we went to the manager and they allowed us to,
Yeah.
but corporate rather us not. Is that what I understand?
Yeah, it's actually, so when I get the vendor, there's a vendor agreement and they specifically write in, do not sell in front of our stores.
So I
And
apologize for that.
Yeah, oh, you're fine. So if the manager allowed you and they didn't say
Oh,
anything
yeah.
back to the corporate office, then hey,
Oh, yeah, no, they
Um,
sold 100 cards there. It was great.
oh yeah, that's great. So if you've got a relationship with the store manager and he's not going to reach back out to corporate, then that's, I would say, a different scenario. You've got a relationship and something's going,
No, all
That's good.
right. Wanted to make sure if, because I might be able to do that again.
I'm not looking to rock the boat. I can say that a scout unit in Vegas did go and approach a Smith's store earlier today, and Smith's was very quick to respond back to the Las Vegas Area Council and the Nevada Area Council and let us know, hey, this isn't, so. What
Hey,
other
Pat,
kind of
this,
questions do you have?
another quick question. If we order, put in an order for, say, we're just kind of selling these alongside some of the other things that we have going this spring. And I just wanted to find out if we were to sell out of the first batch that we order before those events come up, we're able to check out more, right?
Yes, definitely. And one of the, I think that was Jim I heard too. So,
Yep.
hey, dude.
Hey.
So on the camp card, the great thing about it is, everybody put in their orders and so forth. And so I went ahead and already ordered another additional 2,500 cards. And so yeah. So I try to keep a stock at the office. I try not to go too berserk on it. And if a scout unit is reaching out, asking for cards to pick up from the office and I'm starting to run low, I'll probably email out to you guys, hey, who's got extra cards and you're not selling, because if you're not selling them, all you're going to do is return them. And that means let's push them out to somebody else that is going to sell them. Otherwise it's money lost.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hey, Pat, sorry, I just finished a Den meeting, so I missed the entire thing, but I noticed it's being recorded. So will you send out that recording?
What I'll wind up doing is I'll send out an email and say, hey, look, I posted this on the council website, nevadabsa.org/camp cards.
Perfect. Thanks, Pat.
Yeah. I think that was Amy. Is that right?
Yep, that's me.
Can we buy Nevada ones at the Boy Scout office?
Sure.
Okay.
We cross the streams all the time. Had to put my Ghostbuster plug in there, right?
What about other districts? In the past, a lot of us have family in other towns in Nevada. I think in the past we've gotten some Elko cards before. Is that hard to do now, or? So
in Elko, those guys were not looking to sell cards this year, and so we did not create an Elko card.
Okay.
If Patty is on here and she's from Susanville, they wanted a more specific card and in their direction, and so Patty went out and she went asking a whole bunch of vendors up there, and then also used some of the vendors that we have for the Greater Reno card, and so we cross-populated now, and so she's got a card specifically for up towards Susanville and Chester. Now the Greater Reno card, one of the things that I really try hard to do for that card is to say, all right, if you're in the North Valleys and if you're in Minden, and then if you're over towards Fernley, let's try to have stuff that is all going to work for people on this card. And this year it kind of doesn't work as well if you're towards Fernley in Fallon, but everything else in between, there's a lot. Well, I mean, it's cross applicable for everybody on there. The one thing I do want to try to get on there more, I think, in the future is some of those family fun adventure type places. Defy is on there. Roller Kingdom is on there. I just found out the owner of Roller Kingdom also owns the roller rink. over in Fallon, but also owns one in Sacramento. And it's like, all right, well, I could be putting his name on there for all three of those places, and it's good at all three locations. So. But if you got family in Boise, Idaho, and you sell them one card because they shop at Tractor Supply, well, that card's should be working for them too. Any other questions, guys? I hope this was helpful for you and that we didn't waste your time or anything like that. So.
Thank you, Pat. I
No, thank
appreciate
you.
it, man.
Pat.
Good, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, you guys make it a great night and go scouting, okay?
Good night.
Okay,
thank you.
thanks.
Good night.
Good night.
Congratulations on that ham.